had this Lear cover on my truck almost as long as I've had the truck, and it's worked out very well. I built a tent that we used to go camping so we could keep the bugs out and sleep in the back of it while we were hunting or out camping. But I could just never get quite enough stuff in the back of the truck when I was hauling. So, and I also had dogs that I carried with me. And so I found this ARE camper on Facebook Marketplace, and it had this single door on the back that you took off the factory tailgate, and this door opened up
like an SUV. Truth be told, I never really liked this setup. It was nice enough for camping, but it didn't work for runs to the hardware store or other things that I actually use my truck for. So I started looking for an ARE, just standard glass half top, and I was going to put my factory tailgate back on the truck. I found mine from a place called Texas Truck Riggings in College Station. It was a special order, and it took about 2 weeks for it to get in before I started this project. The first step in this project was to remove the screws that held the inner frame to the outer frame from inside the camper. I did not capture this bit on video, but I will show putting those screws back in later on. Then I needed to drill out the 7 existing rivets that held this door on in order to take it off. The center rivet, the head had popped off, if you can see in this photograph here. Once those rivets were drilled out, the outside door could be lifted off and set down. There's nothing that holds it on. And then inside the camper, there's this inner frame that sandwiches the fiberglass between it and the outside door. The new glass comes with its own frame. It was very nicely packaged. Came with this inner frame, the outer frame, the glass, the rivets to put it back on, 2 packets of rivets, aluminum rivets and steel rivets. Very well done kit. Because my original ARE door did not have a backup camera, I pulled the camera from the tailgate and built this little holder for it. So I'm going to take that off and put it back on to the old tailgate. To make things easier for me when I start drilling the new rivets, the new holes, I use some blue painter's tape to mark the existing rivet holes in the fiberglass because I don't want to be anywhere near those holes when I put my new rivets in. I want them to have a nice solid hole when they're put in place. Not sure why, but there are a lot of holes in this fiberglass flange. The new kit came with 2 sets of rivets, the aluminum large-headed rivets, and then the aluminum with steel shank rivets that hold the outer frame to the camper. Before drilling the holes, I just want to verify the size of the rivets so that they have a good grip. And on this particular kit on my door, I had some 1/8 inch. These are the steel shank aluminum heads, smaller headed rivets, and then the larger ones are 3/16 aluminum shank, aluminum head. I'm just going to assume everyone understands the drilling process for rivets, but here I'm just drilling the 3/16 hole through the fiberglass into the backing frame, trying to hold the drill as straight as possible. Now, if I really had a slick shop, I would have some Clecos tools that hold these rivet holes, and I would drill all the holes at one time, and the Clecos would hold the frame in place, and all the holes would be tight and straight. I don't, so I'm just going to go ahead and use the existing rivets to hold each hole as I drill it. A little RTV silicone around the rivet just to ensure I have no water leakage. Once I had my inner frame completely secured with the rivets all the way across, I had my son hold up the door frame, window frame here, and I secured it using self-tapping screws to the inner frame, sandwiching the fiberglass in between the inner and outer frame. Now, I did forget to videotape my son holding this up while I started it, but this just rounds it out. One thing I thought was interesting is the new kit did not come with these screws, so I just used them, the ones I took off the original door, camper door, and it worked really well. I thought it was a better solution for holding this, for sandwiching this fiberglass in between these 2 frames. Now, the window door is actually held in pretty securely with everything I've got, but it does have additional rivets that go in from the outside to secure it. This is where you'll notice the markings where I put the black It's kind of hard to tell, but there's black X's and green lines. I didn't want to drill where the black was. I didn't want to drill where the green was. It's a really nasty job of them cutting the factory holes for this handle on this door, but it will be covered up once the handle's in place. So just a modern fabrication. So now these rivets are all in place. The factory kit came with some really nice little black covered rivet, I guess heads, trim that you can just tap in place and it completely covers those rivets up. Makes it look like a nice install. And that's about it. From this point on, all I had to do is put on my original tailgate. Pretty simple job. Installed that camera back into the original tailgate, and I have a fully functional truck bed again. As long as I'm not hauling refrigerators or things standing up, it works really well for keeping things out of the elements. My dogs can ride back there. Seals in, weather tight. I really do like it, and I can't believe how much I miss my tailgate. If you got this far, thanks for watching the video.